Well, good morning. This is Ken here at the Stamps of Life in very cold Southern California this morning. It's about 5 in the morning and it is really cold for us. It's about 40 degrees. So for us, that's basically freezing. It doesn't get that cold that often, but being so early in the day, it is a little chilly. So you might see me rubbing my hands every once in a while trying to stay warm. I've got all the lights on and it'll probably heat things up here real quick. Let's see, today, normally I would not be here doing this, but we are facing another one of those, I suppose, COVID-19 pandemic problems. We should be packing card kits right now for the November shipment, but our boxes that the kits come in have not arrived yet. Well, about half of them. We have about half of them done, but we're waiting for more to arrive, and the manufacturer of the box says they're in the process, and then they tell us they're having problems with their machines, or they're having problems with getting the supplies from the people who bring them the boxes that they cut and then stamp and make all pretty and nice that we can ship to you. So we'll see. They're supposed to deliver more today. They brought some yesterday, so little by little we're getting there, but we're about a week away, so it's starting to get pressure time. But I can't do anything in the back right now, so I figure I'll come out here to the front. This is our the main part of our store, and we also use this for videotaping. Stephanie used to do all her videotaping here, but now it's kind of my spot. So here I am. It's been about a month since I've done any card making, or at least had a chance to do so on video. Now that I have some extra time, I want to go ahead and work on my card making skills a little bit, see what we can do, and have a little bit of fun, show you some products, and give you maybe some good ideas for you too. Now again, this is mainly for new card makers or scrapbookers or people who are just getting used to dies and stamps. I'm not a real expert at this, but maybe you'll find these things helpful, and we'll learn from a few mistakes that I've made, because I have made a few here already as I started to get this project ready, and I'll tell you about those, and then hopefully you can skip over those errors that I made, and it'll just be more fun for you when you get it right the first time. It's always exciting when things come together the way they're supposed to. So I have cut a few of these out for you again to show you just how easy they are to do, but I did work ahead a little bit in order to save some time. We are going to use, so you'll see I've cut out, we're going to use a Scalloped Flip-it die today from the Stamps of Life. This is the inside panels. This is my main card, the base that the card will be built on. And it's gonna kind of be just a friend card, miss you card. I've done some the die cutouts that are in the kit. That's this side along with the card base. I also am going to use some flowers. I did a little bit of blending on some of the flowers, and I really do like the outcome of that. Just a little bit of blending is giving a little bit of extra interest into those flowers, and I'll show you how I did that. And then I used some of our foil paper to cut out these flowers. That's going to look real pretty. And on this we have some not scratch paper, I'm sorry, from a pattern paper pad from the Stamps of Life. And this is a sheet of our pearl paper. And I'll show you these as we get started here, okay? We are going to use the Stamps of Life adhesive sheets. This will help when it comes to using some of these little die cuts that we've done. We won't have to try to put the adhesive on afterwards. It'll kind of make our die cuts into stickers. So that's going to be great. We'll have the adhesive foam. I'll use that in a couple spots to give a little extra dimension, a little extra interest to our card. I'm using one sheet of the paper, this dark blue with light blue dotted pattern paper from the Cheerful collection. I'm going to use the spring flower dies, and I will use the flower stems and then the flower tops there. And this is Happy Calligraphy to Stamp. Has a lot of nice different words. I like the font on this, and I am going to use the For My Friend and also I Miss You stamps. Part of the card will be made with this card base, the Scalloped Edge Circle Flip-it. Flip-its are very, very easy to use, and I'll show you how to cut it and fold it, and then we'll get the panels from there. This is a great die set to have. Okay, we're going to get started here on making our card, and as I've been making cards, I want to help you out a little bit and give you some ideas, some tips that might be helpful, but I'm also trying to speed things up a little bit as well. I'm not trying to go crazy super fast, but my videos seem to take a long time, and I can edit them down and cut them down, and they're still taking longer than I would like. So I'm trying to figure out how to speed things up a little bit. Now what I've done is I went ahead and I did some of my die cutting ahead of time, and a lot of this we will use in the project, so that will help me to speed up a little bit. I'll show you some of those items that I have pre-cut. Lots of nice pretty colors, and this will make our card look really nice. So I have that, again, trying to save a little bit of time. All right, let's move that off to the side. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut our card base. I do want to show you how to do that and how simple it is to do. We will get our card base out. Again, this is the Scalloped Edge Flip-it for now. And we'll bring our platinum machine over here, and we will get this card base cut. Again, this is easy to do. One of the most important things I have learned on my die cutting is make sure these plates get lined up correctly. So when we run it through the machine, they don't get stuck in there if they are aligned correctly. If they're a little bit crooked, a little bit off, we could have a bit of difficulty getting the platform to run through. We'll run this right through here. And that's my speed bumps. I probably would have liked to have put this die at a little bit of an angle when I started. That would have helped. So that cuts through once, and we'll just go back through again one more time just to make sure we have a good cut on that base. All right. So we have cut out our card base. Very, very easy again. Once you cut it, you're going to be looking at it. You will want to have the smaller panel on top, the larger on the bottom. Take it, fold it in half on the scored line, and then back on the scored line. Very, very easy. That is the base of your Flip-it card right there. And I'm going to show you how to cut one of our panels. Well, actually we'll do two. We can do the small one, and this will just be for a little extra practice. We won't use this piece. And to show you how I can run extra items through at the same time, again trying to save time, this is the color we are going to use. We'll do the small panel on that. And we have just enough room to do the larger panel there. So if I plan ahead of time, some of the time I can get some extra cuts out of my cardstock, save a little bit of money, use everything that I have. Is always a good idea. All right, got both of those through, and one more pass. Again, you don't have to do it go through the blades twice, run the blades through twice if you don't want. But as I have been doing my die cutting, I seem to get a little bit better results when I do that. All right, and now we have a panel for both sides of the card. And let me show you how that will fit onto this card that I just cut. We'll do adhesive on here. Now we're not going to use this one, but this is just, for example, that it will fit on the larger side. That will be our inside panel, and then this one will be for our smaller side. All right, so we're off to a good start. Let's put our machine off to the side. And we're going to do a little bit of our adhesive work here to get our card started. And I lost there's my adhesive, so this part will be easy. We'll add our panels, get some adhesive on there, each spot. Make sure that will stay nicely in place. We'll add that panel to the inside. That lined up, and then let's add our second panel. Again, this is so easy. And a majority of our card will be done once we get these three pieces together. We're going to go ahead and add that to there. Look at that. So my 3 die cuts, I have my card base. Things are starting to look nice. Now we're going to take a look at some of the flowers that I have cut out. I went ahead and I used the adhesive sheets. I added that to, this was also a pearl, one of our pearl papers. Looks like kind of a green apple or kiwi. And I went ahead and I added the adhesive sheet to it first. That's going to turn all these die cuts here into stickers, so I don't have to add the adhesive later. Makes things much easier because these cutouts are pretty intricate. You can see how just tiny they are, and having that, trying to get adhesive onto those, that would be a lot of extra work that we won't want to mess with. So it'd be nice to have those done ahead of time. And then I also went ahead and ran these through a couple different times with a couple different colors because I wasn't sure exactly which colors I wanted ahead of time. This way I'll be able to mix and match and try a few different looks. Very important as I was cutting, working with these, lots of little pieces here that need to be poked out. So I have my paper piercer, and makes things a lot easier. I can just pop out all those little extra dots. And I'm going to show you what I did with, before we start to put things together, I did do a little bit of shading. You can see just a little bit of difference here. This I had not done any shading on. This one here I did do a little bit of shading on just the corners and the edges, and you can see this too. It's just giving a little bit of extra interest to all of my die cuts. And you'll just get a little bit of ink on there, brush a little onto your scratch paper, and then you just want to add just a little bit to the edges. It doesn't take a lot to add this extra interest. And we can even add it just a tiny bit to this different color of cardstock. It really will look good. Ah, now I got ink on my hand. All right. I have hit a few, might as well tell you about a few of the errors or mistakes I made. When I went to die cut, one of the first things I did, I haven't done this for a long time, but it happens some of the time. I had a piece of cardstock on here, on the machine. See, can you see that? And my die was facing this way, and I didn't catch it. So I ran it through, and I ran it through, and I went and I looked, and there was no cut. The paper was just indented, and I looked at it, and I was like, what's going on here? And I went and looked at my die. I had my die upside down. So that was a real rookie mistake. So that cut, it didn't really do anything. It dented the paper, and I figured it out quick, but something you might come across, blade goes down always. So it's when you run through the machine, the roller, that pressure down into the cardstock will actually cut it. So that was one mistake. Now when I was shading, this came out nice on the cardstock, but I had this pearl paper. It was actually this sheet here, this color, and I tried to do a little bit of blending on that. I had a color that was similar, Ocean, and it just didn't seem to be picking up. Maybe the colors just matched too much, or perhaps the pearl paper was just not picking it up exactly as I expected. So I just went ahead and left the actual final cut just how it is. Perhaps it can be shaded, but with this color, it didn't match up for me. I couldn't see any real difference when I was trying to shade. So that was another kind of funny thing. Took me a long time to pick out paper. That's a big thing. It shouldn't really be an error or a mistake, but the faster you can get things going, the faster you can get your card going, and more fun. Just don't overthink it. I kept looking for, oh, what's going to be the perfect, panel for this. It's easy for me to pick out the pearl paper. I just saw a sheet that I liked, but what am I going to have for the other side? I wanted to have something that's not too busy or something that just totally clashes with the rest of the card. But I finally did come to the decision to use that one there, and it came out really nice, but there's no need to overthink it. Now when I stamped, I forgot to use, this is just during my practice time, so there's no big deal. I forgot to use the secret weapon, and my impressions were not coming out as clear as I would like. This was when I was just attempting to practice with some stamps that hadn't been used before, because it's good when they're new stamps, like on this stamp set, to try them out, test them before you actually go on to your card. So that was another bit of a challenge, was my stamping. But once I remembered, hey, use the secret weapon, then things became much better, even while I was practicing. So when we go to put the card away, put the card together, I will make sure that I have the secret weapon ready to be used. We are going to use the For My Friend and the I Miss You stamps. And I will get those ready onto blocks, so they will not be lost, and I will know just where to find them. That is one thing I always find myself misplacing things, even just right here on the table. So the better organized I can be, the more smooth the project will go. Now this one I have not stamped yet, so I am going to go ahead and test that one ahead of time. Ink pad, and I think that's going to show up really good. We'll get a good amount of ink on here. And we're going to try right there in the middle. Lots of pressure on all the sides. That looks very, very good. So I like to keep the stamps clean and just use just a little Dyed wipe. Keep that close here. So if I get ink on my hands or on the table, I can always clean things up. And then I like to keep the stamps as clean as possible. You don't have to do this. Just wipe that extra ink off, and then we'll come back to that. I have both my blocks ready with my stamps. I'm going to put the lid back on that ink so I don't get more ink on my hands. Okay, here's was some of my die cutting that I had done ahead of time. I went ahead and I used, this is the glitter paper from the Stamps of Life, and I have another sheet of glitter paper here, and I have a couple different colors that I've chosen to use. I ran those through. I was able to get the die cuts. I did not, on all of these smaller sheets, I put the adhesive sheets ahead of time, so we'll be having stickers, and it's going to be real easy to put everything together. The different colors, I can mix and match and see what I want my card to look like, which colors I want on my card. Lots of fun options here. No real right way or wrong way to do this, but this will give me an idea of how my flowers are going to look. Again, no real right way, wrong way. We can do anything we like with these flowers. We can layer them. They don't have to have these different layers on them, but we have lots of great options. I will add that to that, and I think this will look better on the smaller. Yes. And again, this will go with that. All right, kind of gives me an idea of what I'll be looking at. I'm going to go ahead and fix up these stems. It'll take me a bit of time, so I'm going to put these together and zoom forward for a few. Probably take me a couple minutes to get these all adhered, but let's do that. I'll be right back. I think I've somewhat decided that I'm going to perhaps do a couple larger flowers on the inside, or maybe one larger flower and one smaller flower. I don't think I will have to trim anything if I do that. That will look good for the inside. And then on this flower on the outside, I'm probably going to just do one. That gets us to our 3, and then I'll have some extra flowers for another project I'll keep it around with my scraps, something I can use at a later time. And I probably just want to have, I think I just want to have a little flower down here. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm not sure how this is going to come out, but this is my idea, is I'm going to trim this down a little bit so I can squeeze a little flower in there. Again, thanks for being patient with me. I'm a little bit slow on some of these things, but if I kind of just work at a calm, slow pace, I can usually get it to come out nice in the end. Not perfect again, but nice. I have my 2 sentiments that we're going to do, and I have tested them again already, and they stamped really nice. And before I put everything together with adhesive, I'll just stamp, because maybe I'll make a mistake or I won't be happy with how the stamping turns out. If I do it before I put it all together, it'll save me a lot of work in case there is an error. And again, stamping is something that I am still working on. But I know with having the matte, good ink, and a good stamp, it ought to come together really nice. So this one says, "For my friend," and I have to be real careful on this one because it does just barely fit on here. And add that on the card, press down. Let's see what we get. That one looks good. And then we're going to ink up the sentiment for the inside. It says, "I miss you." That lined up. Push down. Great. Clean up our block. Now it's time to put these last few pieces together. Go right on top. And we're going to add some adhesive to the back of this. It's time to add it to our card. "For my friend." And then on the inside, I'm going to do, "I miss you." So again, you could do any type of card. You can make this into a birthday card, a get well card, sympathy, a hello card, all kinds of good stuff. Very, very versatile are these Flip-it sets. All right, there we go. I have my card, my Flip-it card. I've added a few flowers. I like that combination of 3 flowers. Not to make it too crazy. I could decorate. I could add some flowers or grass down below. Lots more I could do with it. But for the sake of time and just to show you how easy it is to get to this far, we're going to stop at that point. But I do have to stamp on the back. That is the one thing I have yet to do. So I want to, I'm not going to call this a masterpiece, but I put a lot of work into this. This is my chance to get a little bit of credit for my creation. All right, so let's make sure we don't get too much ink on that. That will be our practice run. Great. Bring our card over here. I'm going to lay this out flat. I think that's going to help out when I go to stamp on the card. Just a little extra on that. We'll take that off. Great. Real Men Love Jesus and Real Men Craft. Card by Ken Bernard. There we have it. All right, we're all finished. I'll take a couple photos. I will add this to the end of the video. I'll have some photos of the different products. Let's get this covered up. Again, I don't want to make a mess. I think my time is a little bit better. Fun card, lots of different products I was able to use that you might have fun with. I see I could use a little bit of extra adhesive on that. So that is a wrap. That is my card. Hope you had a fun time. Thanks for joining me. All of you stay healthy and God's blessings for each of you. Hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy the special day with your family. Just a time to hang out, to be thankful. We all do have a lot to be thankful for. Enjoy some good food. I like to watch some football, so it'll be some football time. No card making for me on that day. I'll be watching football. I have to cook too, though, but hopefully I'll be able to get out of the kitchen and get out of the cleaning part. All right. Thanks again. Have a great day. Take care, and I will see you soon.